Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and beer.
And beer.
Yes, sir.
Just two crazy Florida men drinking beer and talking about true crime.
Yeah.
How very profound.
Yes,
But
indeed.
anyway, it's just the fact that it's two crazy Florida men talking about it just makes it that much crazier.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Todd.
And that is Bill. Wait, he's that way. I still haven't got this shit figured out. I'll figure it out one day.
I'm just pointing to...
You're pointing the right direction. On me, it's backwards. But anyway, not the point.
Oh. Okay. So, brings up another question. What are you drinking?
Well, today I am drinking Seagram 7 and Coke out of my powder blue sippy cup.
I'm drinking Bud Light out of a brown bottle with a blue label.
Yes, of course you are. I didn't make it out today to get to the store to get beers. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah. So, welcome to episode 50.
Yay.
Holy crap, it's episode 50, which is actually our 1 year anniversary episode because there were 2 weeks where we didn't release an episode in the year. So this is actually week 52 that we've been at it.
Yes, a whole year. Holy crap.
Whole year.
Can't believe it.
So, oh, I know. We got a really good one for you. One that's not very well known.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I have a little bit of ado.
Yes, let's have some ado.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Okay, there's people out there that provide services to podcasts and everything. Be it like graphic design, be it mixing, mastering, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, editing. And you know what? There's some people out there that don't know how to do that stuff. So therefore, they might use these people. So these people will go on to the podcasting, you know, the websites and everything, or Facebook pages and whatnot, and like, do you want my product? Do you need my product? And if you're interested, you send them a message, and I mean, it's better than the people saying promote your podcast. You know, let me get you 10,000 fake followers. It's different than that.
Yeah.
But you know, some of these other ones are actually kind of useful and whatnot. But there was one where it was a guy that does graphic design, you know, and he could turn you into a comic strip.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, that looks pretty cool. And he did really good work. I ain't gonna lie, he did. I'm not gonna drop his name,
right?
But he did really good work. I mean, I was impressed with it. And so I sent him a message and everything, and he told me a price, and it's like that's more than reasonable. I mean, let me talk to my co-host. And this was like late last night.
Okay.
I said, let me talk to my co-host about it. And you know, get back to you. I was like, I think we'll go. I think we'll go for this. When I woke up this morning, there were 10 freaking messages from this dude. When are you going to make the payment? Have you talked to your co-host? When are you going to? There's like 10 freaking messages that I'm like, dude, no. I just woke up to that. I'm like, dude.
Oh no.
So I just messaged him back, and I'm like, you know what? Just forget it.
If you're going to be like that, god damn.
I know. I'm like, just forget it. I said, I'm like, I don't need somebody harassing me like they're a fucking bill collector.
Yeah, right. No shit. Oh man, god damn it, man.
So he sent me 2 more messages. I think before he realized what I said. Then he sent me another message apologizing to me for harassing me. And now I'm driving, you know.
Yeah.
I'm driving a semi, so I can't really do much and all that stuff. So I'm driving along. I keep seeing messages come up, more and more messages and everything. Okay, I'm just very passionate about my work, you know, and I'm like, yeah, and then after he apologized, and I thought that was the end of it, but no. But wait, there's more. So he sends me probably about another 5 messages. When can I get to work? When are you going to send the payment? Finally, I just blocked him. I fucking blocked. He even sent me a friend request.
Mm.
And so I just fucking blocked him. I wonder how.
I mean, I get it. He's proud of his work and he wants to get the job. But, I mean, damn, dude. Chill
Lay the
out,
fuck
chopsticks.
off.
Yeah, chill
Yeah,
out,
it's
man.
like I already said I was interested and wanted to do it. Don't sit there and
don't.
I'll get to you.
harass
I'll get
me.
to you when I get to you. I'll get to you when I get to you. You know.
I mean, dude, I hate to say this. I mean, you're not gonna say the guy's name, and we shouldn't. But at the same time, dude, it's just like he obviously gets so little work that he is hounding you because he's like, dude, this is the first job I've had in a year.
But I don't see why, because I mean, well, he had like pictures on his page from like other podcasts that he done work for, and it was like the two of us sitting here, except we're cartoons, and then there'd be the that in the background, the logo in the background, and it looked really, really good. And I'm not I'm not down on the guy's work or anything, but dude, if you want work,
don't harass customers. Whatever, it is what it is. He just shouldn't have been so damn pushy.
Right, he would have gotten a sale if he hadn't been so pushy.
Yep.
I mean, he really would have, because I was really impressed with it. But today we have a really good story for you, and this is one that's pretty much unknown. And I mean, I'd never heard of it, and I've actually been working on it for a while, and just kind of because of the fact that it's so unknown, it was kind of hard to scrape up. But I'm going to get to that when I talk about my sources. But the thing that stuck out to me about this one is this is a serial killer that did his rampage during the Dust Bowl.
The Dust Bowl. All right.
Yeah. So his name was Thadius Morton, the Dust Bowl killer.
All right.
And this is it's a good one. So buckle up.
Buckle up. Here we go. Already with the buckle up.
So between 1932 and 1935, during the Dust Bowl, World War I veteran Thadius Morton murdered 7 people in their homes. These people were sitting ducks because they were trapped in their home due to the intense dust clouds. Like, you couldn't even breathe at times, so you had to stay indoors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was terrible.
But Thaddeus had some screws loose, and he had a misguided hatred for several families in the area due to a misunderstanding, and he used the Dust Bowl as cover to carry out his revenge.
All right. Here we go.
So he was able to move around because he had a gas mask from his time in World War I.
Oh. All right.
He killed 7 people, and nobody even knew that his victims were dead until he attempted to claim his 8th victim, who later turned the tables on the would-be killer, which led to his arrest.
Okay.
So this is a relatively unknown case that was overshadowed by the Dust Bowl and all the panic and intrigue that was related to it.
Yeah, there's something about this that, I don't know. Something about this is familiar. I think I heard this. I don't know. But we'll see.
How'd you hear about this one and not some of the more well-known ones?
Oh, you know me, dude. I like that kind of stuff, man. I go on YouTube and watch all kinds of crazy shit. You know me. And I think this is one of like the, how like when you go on YouTube and you watch a video and then like it starts just playing stuff. I think I fell asleep and I woke up to this being on or something because this sounds familiar. Either that or I just dreamed it. Who knows?
Well, I mean, Dust Bowl is it's a crazy story.
It is
on its own.
Yeah, it is.
But then when you throw in the fact that there was a serial killer that took advantage of it.
Yeah, dude, that's like, yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's just, I don't even know what to say about that.
So the sources for this episode is an interview that I did several months ago with a guy, James Morton, who was actually Thaddeus's great-grandson.
Oh?
One of my friends who I stayed in touch with from when I lived in Tennessee sent him to me to tell the story. Now, James is 50-year-old, and he was happy to tell me the story. I also found a PDF book online, and when I say PDF, it was just like basically photocopied pages.
Right. All right.
And it's called The Little Known Disaster of the Dust Bowl, The Story of Thaddeus Morton's Deadly Rage by Leonard Bradley.
Okay.
It was written in 1983, so apparently these obnoxiously long true crime book titles have
been around for a while. Like, dude, okay, why didn't you tell me you were interviewing this guy, bro? Come on now. I thought we was friends.
I didn't know if there was enough here for an episode, to be honest with you, but
all
there
right,
was.
All right, then.
No, I didn't want to have it. I didn't want to have the guy on the show like we did with Vic.
Yeah.
But I did interview him for source material.
All right.
So
cool.
I just talked to him on the phone.
No worries. Like I said, dude, it's all good, man.
But I couldn't find a printed copy for sale anywhere because I would have liked to have added that to my little true crime library.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah. So, in 1930, in the upper part of Texas, the Oklahoma Panhandle, northeast New Mexico, eastern Colorado, and the entire west half of Kansas experienced a man-made natural disaster known as the Dust Bowl.
Yes.
It was a huge series of storms caused by overfarming and the farmers not knowing the rules of general ecology. The Great Depression was well underway, and farmers in the plains area were starving. They conducted extensive deep plowing of the topsoil in the Great Plains area during the previous decade, and this displaced the topsoil, which killed off all the grass, which kept the dust and sand in place.
They should have fed it brawny. And if you know, you know.
Dust clouds even made it over most of the country and even into Canada. But the storms were focused in that general area that Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado.
Uh-huh.
But the result of it, the resulting dust cloud just went
everywhere. Yeah.
So, it got worse because a major drought hit the area at the same time, so none of their planted crops were growing either. So with the drought, lots of windstorms that never ended whipped up and exposed the dry sand and dust, and it blanketed the region for 6 years.
Oh.
The sky was blacked out for weeks at a time, and you can find pictures of all of this. There's actual photographs of this, especially one particularly menacing one where this cloud is just like barreling toward the people and everything, like the mist, like from the movie The Mist.
Yeah, I know. I know. I've seen stuff. I know about it. And anyway, it wasn't Brawny. It was Brondo, I think, was the drink in the movie because it has electrolytes that everything craves or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And if you know the movie, if you know what I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah, I know, and I just kind of laughed going along with it. And I'm just like,
I know, I said it wrong. It was my bad.
And I was just like, what?
Yeah, you know.
So many families defaulted on their mortgages, and some people just flat out abandoned their homes and went elsewhere.
Yeah, well, what choice do you have at that point?
Really, none. But you know what? I've actually been through a dust storm in Texas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was working for a trucking company that has gold-colored trucks.
Okay.
And I was driving through I-20. This was at night. It was very cold, and it was pretty windy and everything. And I'm driving, all of a sudden, it just gets like whiteout conditions, and you couldn't see, 20 feet in front of you and all that stuff. And it was pretty windy. And at first I thought it was just, it wasn't snow. I thought it was just like a really thick fog.
Right.
But I was just, I was curious, so I rolled down my window a little bit, stuck my hand out. It's fucking dry. My hand comes back freaking white, like whiter than it usually is. but it was a dust storm, and it lasted like 30 freaking miles, and it was just all over the place. So it's just like, when you think dust storm, you don't necessarily need like hurricane force winds or anything like that to stir one up.
Oh, yeah.
All you need is just a bunch of exposed area and the wind to hit at the right, the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
And it was winter in the middle of the desert in Texas, and so it's very dry there. But it's just all of a sudden it was just there, and it probably took me a good 2 hours to go those 30 miles. So Thadius Morton, he was born in February 23rd of 1892 in Liberal, Kansas. Yes, that is a real town name. I've been there. Although I don't think you're gonna find very many liberals in Liberal, Kansas, because it's like out in the country and all that stuff, cornfields and whatnot.
Yeah, they have their own rules out there.
Yeah. So it's also home to the most infamous way station in the U.S. just because it just pops up out of nowhere and you'll pass it if you're not expecting it. And if you do pass it, the cops are going to come roaring out to give you a ticket.
Oh, yeah, they're waiting. They're just there waiting.
I mean, they got to make money on Liberal, Kansas somehow.
Exactly. Why not just hide the way station and...
No, and it really is. It's hidden. I mean, it's like whenever I would take a load through that area, in the computer, there would always be a message saying, important when driving through Liberal, Kansas. And it was like, be very careful because you will pass that way station. And if you pass the way station, you will get a ticket.
That's freaking great, bro. They set up, it's like a speed trap almost, but they set up a way station trap. Just to find truckers so they could get money coming in.
And the highway that goes through there, that's a major shipping hub too. It's a major shipping lane.
That's why they did it, bro. You know it.
So
you don't have to be super smart to figure that out.
So Thadius was born to Thomas and Elizabeth Morton. Thomas was a farmer, as were most of the people in the region. Thadius was the youngest of 4 children. He had 2 sisters and a brother.
Oh.
Thadius was good at farm work, but he didn't like it. And there aren't a lot of details about his childhood. He didn't get into trouble or anything like that. But while in high school, he had a classmate who taught him how to shoot.
Oh.
And he was a natural at it, like somebody else that we've covered recently. Although Thadius didn't go up into a clock tower and start picking people off.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he did is any better, but anyway. He was a natural at it, and he decided that he wanted to join the army. His father was against it, but Thadius graduated high school and turned 18 the following year. And on his 18th birthday, he enlisted in the army and later went for boot camp in Fort Benning.
All right.
Another tie to Whitman.
Yeah.
Charles Whitman. There's no records about any ill will between him and his father, unlike Charles Whitman.
Unlike everybody else we cover.
Right. But he got into a field artillery unit and was doing well. But in June of 1914, World War I broke out. But the U.S. wouldn't enter the war until 1917 when Thadius was 25.
Oh.
In the field of battle, in the Great War,
you had to go there.
Thadius was under the command of Captain Harry Truman.
Oh.
In a field artillery unit. And this unit did use poison gas against the Germans.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing, but whatever. It is what it is.
Well, everybody was using it. The Germans were using it. The Russians were using it. The Americans were using it. The French everybody was using poison gas in World War I. So Thadius may have come into contact with poison gas from a counterattack from the Germans, or he may have it may have been accidental exposure from his side, or he may not have come into contact with it at all. But what did happen was in a shelling attack from the Germans, he was knocked to the ground by the concussion from an artillery round, which knocked his helmet off. And then another round came in, and a piece of shrapnel hit him in his exposed head.
Oh.
So Thadius was in a coma for 2 weeks, and he was sent home with a Purple Heart. and he now walked with a limp, and his speech was slurred. So it was obvious that he had brain damage.
Yeah.
So upon moving home, he took it easy for a bit to recover, and his motor skills eventually returned, but his speech impediment didn't. But still, he eventually started working on the farm along with his father. But that wouldn't last very long. He met a young lady named Jill Anderson who lived in Hooker, Oklahoma.
Seriously?
Yes, that is a real town.
Is that a real town?
It is. I've been there.
So that's like Beaver, Oregon, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, but Hooker, Oklahoma makes liberal Kansas look like or liberal Kansas makes Hooker, Oklahoma look like New York City.
Okay.
I mean, basically what I'm saying is in Hooker, Oklahoma, there's a little bit of a town center,
Well, so they're metropolitan.
If you want to call it that, yeah. They don't even have a Walmart yet.
What do you mean today? Even today?
Today. They don't have a Walmart.
Of course, even today, because there probably wasn't. Well, I don't know. There might have been Walmarts back then. Who the hell knows? I wasn't alive back then.
But they did have a Dollar General.
Of course they did. Everybody got a dollar store.
And no, Jill was not a hooker.
Okay, well, I was hoping not.
So it was love at first sight, and the couple quickly married and moved to Hooker.
Hooker. God.
Shortly later, they had twin sons named Marcus and John. Now, Jill's father owned a farm, and he was rapidly aging, and Thaddeus quickly took over the farm, and it did well for a couple of years. But in 1929, Jill's father died, leaving the farm to Thaddeus and Jill.
Yes.
But things were already on the decline due to the deteriorating ecological conditions, and the crops that they had before the decline had been sold due to, trying to survive. So basically they had nothing.
Yeah. All right. Didn't one of their kids get like sick and die or something, dude? I seem to remember something about that.
Okay, yeah, you are familiar with this story.
A little bit. It's either that or I had the same dream. I don't know. But it seems like I remember something about that. Like I saw something on YouTube or some shit. Who knows?
Were you watching a Dust Bowl video? Because I looked on YouTube. I looked everywhere for
I
information.
don't remember
on this.
what it was, dude. It was one of those things. I started watching YouTube and I fell asleep. And when I woke up, it was playing. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I'll keep watching this. Mm. You know, the YouTube rabbit hole that, unfortunately, when you fall asleep, you end up way down the rabbit hole instead of choosing to go down it. And that's where I ended up, I think. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but that's all this is familiar as fuck to me, so.
Yeah. But yes, Marcus came down with a high fever, and all the doctors could say about it was just to keep him cool. Oh. But that wasn't easy due to the drought and the unusually high temperatures.
And the fact that they probably didn't have air conditioning back then.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, I would, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that part of the country without AC, although, or in Florida, or Louisiana, or Georgia.
You don't want to be anywhere in the friggin' South without an AC, dude.
Right.
South is hot.
But, oh God, there's this radio station out of Atlanta. It's a talk radio station, and it's a very successful one. It's been around for like 30 years. Mm. But years ago, they had this weather girl that would come in like on commercial, like every hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Or no, this was a guy. It's like, and now for the weather. We're in Florida. It's hot.
It's hot. We're about to do a little crotch pot cooking.
So
yeah, I know. I brought fucking Rob Williams into it. Whatever.
But Marcus's death was probably what started Thaddeus' spiral out of control.
Yeah, I can imagine. It would do it to me.
Yeah. especially if you've already got a few screws loose due to head injuries and whatnot. And
from being in the war, he's probably got PTSD too.
Yeah, he's got PTSD.
Actually, no, wait, hold on. They called it shell shock back then. He has shell shock.
Or war neurosis was what they called it later. But he, and it's just, not to mention the fact that he was more than likely exposed to chemical weapons.
Yeah, that mustard gas will fuck you up.
Mm-hmm. So the doctor, an old man named Robert Peters, he had been the town doctor for years, and his father had been as well. So he had been taking care of Jill's father up until the point of his death. He had never once been accused of negligence, and Thaddeus never thought that of him until Marcus died.
Uh-oh.
So, but that changed after the fact, and Thaddeus was convinced that Dr. Peters didn't do enough to help his son, and whenever he saw him, the doctor in town, he'd call him names like Quack or Nurse Peters.
Quack.
Quack.
Oh, boy.
There's that duck. There's that duck. Well, I don't know what he sounded like, and I can't really get a... he's mentally challenged. I'm not going to make fun of him.
Yeah.
I'll make fun of him later when he starts his spree.
There you go.
So Thaddeus would also slander Dr. Peters to anyone who would listen, and people would just blow him off because Dr. Peters was a good doctor, and everybody knew it. Everybody liked him.
Right.
So according to James Morton, Thaddeus' grandson, this behavior could have been attributed to Thaddeus' concussion, exposure to mustard gas, and PTSD. Like we were,
yeah.
I guess we
just
jumping
talked
ahead.
about that. Yeah, we skipped that a little bit, but I mean, it was the obvious place to go. So,
right, but when Thaddeus couldn't get the entire town against Dr. Peters, he got worse.
Oh yeah.
One time he went to a hardware store to purchase some fertilizer, but they were out of it. And he was realizing that he was in trouble, and he was panicking because his farm was just acres of dust and useless soil, just like everywhere else in that region.
Mm-hmm.
Livestock was beginning to starve to death, and there wasn't a rain cloud in the sky. In fact, it hadn't rained in 2 years. So the townspeople began to realize the scope of the issue, and it was literally the entire region that was drying up.
Mm-hmm.
So the hardware store owner, Archie Small, was in the same boat of everybody else, but Thaddeus saw a man with a wheelbarrow of fertilizer, and that set Thaddeus off.
As it would, especially when you're already
and you know what?
Slightly unhinged.
It probably wasn't even like a bag of fertilizer. It was probably just freaking horse manure or cow manure or something. But he went back to the hardware store and went off on Archie Small, accusing him of conspiring against him.
Of course.
Mr. Small said that he didn't know where the guy got the fertilizer, and he certainly didn't get it from him. But Thaddeus didn't buy it. So he left the hardware store, and he went to the local bar. He ordered 5 shots of whiskey, and he pounded them.
Oh.
And then he started bitching about Dr. Peters and Archie Small conspiring against him. And as he drank, his wild conspiracy theories.
Is that where they all meet and watch like flat Earth movies? Like conspiracy theaters?
Mental conspiracy theater.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. Oh, shit, dude. Yeah, there you go.
Mental conspiracy theory.
Nah, we can't do that. We can't do that.
Mental illness theater.
Yes.
Check them out. They're a good podcast, and they're our friends.
We love those guys. We love them.
Yeah. And so his conspiracy theories got even crazier. He even accused the mayor of stopping supplies coming into the town because he wanted everybody to starve. You know, he wanted to starve everybody out of town.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know.
There's no reason for that. Anyway.
No. But by this time, he had taken 15 shots, and the bartender had cut him off.
15 shots? Holy crap, that's a whole fucking bottle. Or nearly a whole bottle.
Well, for the rest of the for the rest of the time, you can pretty much just assume that he's drunk.
Okay. I mean, I can relate to that, but wow. Okay.
Well, number one, you can handle your liquor. Number two, you don't have head injuries. Number three, you weren't exposed to chemical weapons.
Yeah, I guess I got all that going for me. Maybe I will wake up tomorrow. Who knows?
And D, you didn't have a child die.
And D. Oh, damn it, dude.
So he went home and he slept it off. But the next day he went to Dr. Peter's office and he hit her around the corner. Like, I'm hiding. I'm stalking you.
You can't see me.
So when Dr. Peters closed shop and went home for the day, Thaddeus followed him and wrote down his address.
Oh, he's being sneaky.
Yep. He then did the same thing for Archie Small, and then later followed the bartender home. He
what the fuck did the bartender do?
Well, relax. The bartender cut him off. People get pissed off when you cut him off.
Oh, that's right. The bartender cut him off. Okay. I was like, dude, the bartender got you fucking wasted. What the hell is a bartender? And then, I forgot he cut him off. My bad.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Just spoiler alert. He doesn't go after the bartender.
Good. Never go after your bartender.
Right.
Never insult your bartender either. Your bartender's the one that's keeping you fucking intoxicated and happy.
And don't hit on the bartender either. They're the only sober person in the building. So they think it's like some guy, some drunk fuck coming up to him. Hey, baby,
you look really good.
You look good. I make you feel like a woman. No drunk fuck in the history of the world has ever successfully hooked up with a bartender.
Yeah, unless they were married to him.
Unless, or maybe if the bartender also is like getting hammered along with everybody else, which that
happens. I've been in plenty of bars where that happens, but I know what you mean. Yeah, I totally know what you mean.
Well, there's that like R&B hip hop song or whatever. It's like, I like the bartender. Well, the bartender don't like you. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, right. don't. Whatever you do not piss off your bartender because she will end your night. Or she or he, depending on where you're at, will end your night in a heartbeat. And you got nothing to say about it.
Just a little PSA from Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer.
Yes. So. Actually, we'll go a little bit further with that. Just don't fuck with anybody in the service industry. Right. Don't piss them off because they are in control.
How about just don't fuck with anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just get along. Just be nice to each other.
Business.
Yeah, just mind your own business.
Why can't we all get along?
Just be nice to each other. Fuck.
Yeah. Be good to each other.
Anyway.
Jerry Springer on you.
Yeah, not that, but you know what I mean. Anyway, moving on.
The next day, a powerful windstorm came through, and it lasted for days. But it was impossible to see more than a few feet in front of you, so all the townspeople rode it out. But Thaddeus saw an opportunity. He grabbed his gas mask, and he went to the hardware store.
Oh.
He broke in and went searching for fertilizer.
Okay. But what's that going to do, really? I mean, seriously. The guy already told you he didn't have any. And you think, well, I mean, I get it. You think you're lying. He lied to you because the they is out to get you.
Right.
Anyway, whatever.
But I mean, it's just a couple bags of fertilizer isn't going to do anything for.
At this point in time, no, it's not.
No, it's not. I mean, you could have a semi-tractor trailer full of cow manure and spread it out and everything, and it's still not going to. Not with what's going on ecologically during this time.
I mean, I suppose he was in the army. I suppose he could make a bomb out of it and do something, but that probably wasn't his plan.
Yeah, because I mean, I really don't think that fertilizer had that many chemicals at it. I think that fertilizer back then was probably just a bag of manure.
Yeah, all you need is nitrogen. But anyway, not the point.
But
Don't ask me how I know that because I don't. Just saying.
But yeah, he might have been trying to just to get enough to fertilize a small patch of area, just enough to grow for him, his wife, and his son.
Yeah, for his family. That's
okay. Really, the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But still, you'd need a lot more than a couple bags. And like I said, Mr. Small was out. He didn't have any.
He done told you he was out. I mean, fuck. Anyway, okay, whatever. Moving on.
People don't go into business to turn down money.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he didn't tell you. He didn't tell you he was out because he just didn't want to take your money. He told you he was out because he was out.
Because he was out.
If he had some, he would have sold it to you.
Yeah, he would have gladly sold it to you.
Because business owners are in the business to make money, not not just fuck with like an individual. Like, no, I'm out. Oh, wait, you need fertilizer? Yeah, dude, I got 10 bags in the back. Go get them.
Yeah.
You just told me you're out. Yeah, I don't like you.
I don't like you.
That's not how business works, dude.
Yeah, I don't like the way your speech slurs. Because,
you're crazy, son. I'm not selling you fertilizer, but that guy can have all the shit I got in the bag, And shit, by shit, I mean literally shit. Because, like you said, that's probably what it was.
Yeah. Fertilizers for closers.
God damn it. Oh, dude. That's fucking twice you got me now. Fuck. Anyway.
So, but still, he was completely obsessing over it and whatnot. Of course. The first storm ended, and life went back to normal for a couple of days. Well, as normal as could be expected.
Yep.
But during those few days, Thaddeus was at the bar drowning his sorrows, and when it came time to pay his tab, he was broke and he ditched.
Oh, see, that's another thing you don't ever do.
No.
Anyway.
So the bartender called the police, and Officer Frank Davenport went to his house, and he was going to arrest Thaddeus, but Jill talked him out of it. She had some money stashed away, and she gave it to the cop who took it to the bartender. And this sent a drunken Thaddeus into a frenzy, and he beat Jill badly.
Why? Because she was hiding money from him?
Yep.
Or because she got his ass out of trouble? Like, seriously. Hey, just saved my ass. Never mind the fact you were hiding money. I'm not in jail right now. I'd be happy.
Yeah.
And then, when you sober up, then you go like, okay, why have you been hiding money from me?
Yeah, so he's losing it.
But how are you getting money?
Yeah, but she of course took John to the baby and went to Dr. Peters to be treated, which set Thaddeus off even more because now Jill was part of the conspiracy too, his own wife.
No. Yep, he's definitely broke. And he's definitely broken. He has gone off the deep end.
Yeah. So more stain. Yeah, John Stamos showed up.
Yeah, John Stamos showed up in the 30s because actors are immortal, so he's been alive for that long.
And he brought rain, and everybody lived happily ever after.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
So more storms came, and the Dust Bowl had begun with all of its fury. And you could see clouds coming towards you, but there was nothing you could do about it except go inside and wait it out.
Yep.
This round of storms was particularly bad, and Jill wasn't able to make it home because of it.
Oh, no.
So she and John checked into a motel, which Dr. Peters paid for. Leaving.
This isn't going to end well.
No, it's not. So, leaving Thaddeus alone at home for the duration of this round of storms, and with nothing to keep him occupied, he went insane and he trashed the house.
Yeah, as you do.
When this round of storms ended, Jill went back home and she saw the condition of the house, and luckily for her, Thaddeus wasn't there, so she went back to her motel.
Good thinking. So
Thaddeus was, and you know what? There's one thing about Jill that is different from a lot of wives of these chuckleheads.
Yeah.
She sees the writing on the wall, and she's getting the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah. She knows what up.
Yeah. So Thaddeus was out on the town, and he was trying to rally support for his cause, and he was stopped by Officer Davenport and given a warning, and this enraged him even further.
Of course.
And then
you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're part of the conspiracy, too.
Yes. You're on my list.
So he waited until Officer Davenport got off of his shift, and he stalked him and wrote down his address as well.
Yeah, see, I told you he was on his list. Well, he
Yep.
may not have been at that time, but he's getting put on the list.
So by this time, the entire town was well aware of Thaddeus and his delusions and rage, and they did their best to avoid him, but sometimes he was unavoidable. He was literally trying to assemble a posse against the people who were, quote, conspiring against him.
Oh, shit, dude. Why didn't he just go all killdozer on him, dude? Like, seriously. You know what I mean? Dude, he was in the army. He obviously has some kind of technical know-how. He could have welded himself inside of they probably didn't have tractors like that back then, but...
Well, hell, no, they didn't have... No.
You know, but... dude, I mean, he could have done a 1930s version of Killdozer and just, I don't know. Fuck, who knows? I mean, dude, Killdozer thought the whole town was against him.
Yeah.
And as we all know, I totally changed my mind about that one during that episode.
Well, I mean, the 1935 equivalent would be like an iron box or whatever with a window in it being pulled by a freaking team of mules.
No, dude. They had tractors back then.
Oh, I know they did. But
yeah, nothing Killdozer scale. But yeah, anyway,
right.
I digressed a little bit.
So he was also angry because nobody would tell him where his wife and son were. They all claimed that they didn't know where she was, and by this time she had left the motel, and was staying with a friend, Becky Rogers.
You went all Southern Belle there for a second. They left the hotel.
The hotel. But Thaddeus was smart. A small town like that, it wouldn't be hard to track her down. He saw Becky Rogers in town, and he had a hunch, and he didn't need to stalk her because he already knew where she lived, because she and his wife were friends.
Oh.
So that night, he went over to her house and peeked in, and sure enough, Jill and John were inside.
How's the peeping, Thaddeus? How's the peeping?
He didn't do anything, but he just went home fuming, and he began to put together his revenge plan.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
I will have my revenge!
In this life or the next.
But he really didn't know how he'd be able to kill those people and get away with it, but Mother Nature would conveniently give him an idea.
Oh. This is very clever. I mean, I know where this is going, but this is very clever for somebody who is like so fucking mentally unstable that he thinks the entire town is out to get him. But I guess, I guess you could have even blind squirrels find an acorn once in a while, so cheers.
I mean, Marv Heemeyer was the same way. I mean, but then again, he wasn't mentally he wasn't mentally ill. He was just a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And he was just an asshole.
Just an asshole.
So the next day, the fiercest storm yet hit the area. And some buildings couldn't withstand the wind and collapsed. And this storm wouldn't go away for over a week.
Oh, damn.
And after it had been raging for a couple of days, Thaddeus realized that he had a perfect cover. Nobody was outside, and he'd be able to go to each target, kill them, bury them, and get away completely unseen.
Yeah.
And then people would think that these people had just abandoned the town. So it should also be noted that, you know, well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Thaddeus drew up a map of the town showing his house and the distances to his target's houses. Dr. Peters, Officer Davenport, Archie Small, and Becky Rogers.
Okay, I mean, okay, I get it. It's a small town, and that probably wasn't hard to do, but all of a sudden he's a cartographer now?
I'm thinking it more of it's like a just like, okay, my house is here.
X.
His house is here.
Another X.
His house is here.
Another X.
His house is here.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense too because he
made his version of a pirate treasure map, basically. Not like
there was a method to his madness.
Oh, okay.
No pun intended. But
right.
But and we're about to get that.
All right, let's go.
So he would do one target per night, and he dressed up in his BDU, and which is a battle uniform.
Yeah, he put on his army suit.
Yeah, his army suit. So he grabbed some gloves, a knife, a revolver, and of course his gas mask, and began the long trip to his first target's house. Take a guess.
Oh, I don't know. It has to be the doctor, right?
Yep.
Because that was the first, right? That was the first thing that put him over the edge.
Yeah, but still, remember when I said there was a method to his madness?
Yeah. Was it the closest house? I mean, or what? Or did he
No,
go the
it was
longest
the
house and then circled
Right,
back
it was
so
the
he could get
farthest
back
house.
to the house? Okay.
Yeah, Hooker, Oklahoma isn't a large town at all, but he was battling tropical storm force winds, and he had to go very slowly. And he also couldn't use a car. You couldn't drive a car.
Yeah.
You couldn't drive a car in that.
No, dude, because it'll suck up all that dust and you'll fucking kill the engine.
Right. Not only that, it's just you wouldn't be able to see where you were going at all.
Well, if it's a small enough town, it doesn't matter where you see where you're going. It's just the car wouldn't have made it out of his driveway if he had one. You know what I mean? The fucking motor would have sucked in all that dust blowing around and it just choked out.
He had to go very slowly, and he was also in lots of danger due to the wind. And it wasn't the fact that the wind was blowing 50 miles an hour; it was what the wind was blowing at 50 miles an hour.
Yes, the wind blows a lot of things.
Yeah, we know high winds. We've dealt with hurricanes.
Yes, we're Florida swamp man. Yeah, dude. We know it.
Right,
dude. It's not the wind. It's not the speed of the wind that's bad for you. It's what
it's
the wind is blowing. It's that 2x4 that's flying at you at 50 fucking miles an hour that's going to split you in half. We all know that. But
so several buildings had been blown down, so loose wood would become like a projectile and could easily injure him or even kill him. 50 miles an hour, that's barely a tropical storm. Actually, I don't even think that is a tropical storm, is it? I think tropical storm starts at like 60.
I think it starts at 60, yeah. But dude, 50 mile an hour wind is still nothing to
but
sneeze
still,
at.
that is, 50.
That can still blow something around very powerfully enough.
Yeah, so at times he was even crawling. So what would have normally been a 30-minute walk took hours. He had to go right along the street side and literally go right up to the street sign and look directly at the names on the sign because visibility was practically zero.
To see where he was.
Yeah, so it's just that's another reason why he even if the car wouldn't have gotten choked out with all the dust, he would have he still wouldn't have been able to use the car.
See where he was going exactly. I got you. We're all good.
So he crept up to Dr. Peters' house and looked through a window, and he saw his nemesis at the dining room table with his wife, Anne. He waited, and then he picked up a piece of wood, and when a particularly strong, sustained wind gust hit, he threw the piece of wood at the window, and it shattered. Dr. Peters and his wife jumped up to try to cover up the broken window. And when they did that, Thaddeus snuck around to the back door and slipped in.
Oh.
He took off his
in
gas
the back
mask.
door.
Yep. Feel it coming.
Yeah. Anyway.
But both of his targets had their backs to him, and he shot Anne, and she was killed immediately. And Dr. Peters turned around and tried to hit Thaddeus with a hammer, but Thaddeus was much younger and much stronger, so he wrestled Dr. Peters to the floor, and he taunted him. He said that this was his revenge because Dr. Peters had let his son die, and then he stabbed Dr. Peters in the chest.
Oh, that's right. He did have a knife. You said he took a knife.
He took a revolver, too.
Yeah. Well, why didn't he just shoot him? Oh, wait, they were fighting. That's right. With the hammer. See, right. You see how little I pay attention sometimes.
Well, they had the hammer because they were trying to.
Oh no, I know he had the hammer
that window.
He was trying to block up the window, but
right.
So I get it. Okay, we're good. Carry on.
He grabbed his gas mask, then went outside, and he grabbed a shovel, and he started to dig. But there was one thing that he hadn't thought of. Take a guess.
Oh God, dude, it's a fucking storm, man. Come on, dude. You ain't gonna dig a hole in a fucking storm.
Yeah, you got it. Especially
in a dry.
When it says
town.
dry.
Yeah, that's just like every shovel of dirt you pick up is going to get blown back in by the wind,
or off, not in, off. So it's just like you got it.
And then the wind is going to blow the shit in from the side. It's like, dude, you're going to be digging a hole for fucking like ever because it's just going to fill itself back in. Come on, man.
So with each,
dude, I thought he had a plan.
Well, he did. His plan was to bury his targets.
Yeah,
but with each shovelful of with each shovelful of soil, the wind literally blew all the dirt away. So he could dig a hole, but he had nothing to fill the hole up with.
Oh, okay. You were going there with it. All right. See, I'm thinking more like, dude, even if he digs the hole and throws the dirt out in the direction the wind is blowing, the wind is still going to be blowing dirt back into the hole.
Yeah, but
I get what you're saying. But yeah, he's got nothing. Yeah. He got the hole dug, but it blew it all away, and there was nothing to fill it up with. I got you.
Right.
All right.
So he went back inside, and he put paper and blankets on the floor and lit them on fire.
He's like, fuck burying him, dude. I'm just going straight to arson.
Yep. So before too long, the wooden house was ablaze, and the strong wind accelerated the fire, and there was nothing left, and debris had been blown for miles.
I mean, I'm assuming that houses in this town probably aren't that close together, but I mean,
no, they're not. I mean, most of it's farms.
Yeah.
So,
dude, you want to burn the whole town down? Yeah. Dude, arson a house in a windstorm. Burn the whole town down.
He wouldn't have cared if he had. He'd been like, well, cool, I got everybody.
Yeah, I know.
Because everybody's against me, so
yeah, why not?
Thank you, Dust Bowl.
Yeah, right on. It makes sense, dude. Yeah, you should have just gone with arson in the first place. You could have got it all done in one shot.
Just take out the entire town.
Yes.
But he also wanted his son.
Well,
so
yeah, there's that, I guess.
As every crazy father.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone, because some sick fracks out there will kill their kids. So Thaddeus crept back to his house and he waited. And this ordeal had taken around 6 hours because of how slow he had to go there and back because of the storm. So he was hoping the storm would continue, and it did. So Dr. Peters' house was the farthest away, and the rest would be easier and take less time. He knew that he would have to burn these houses now, and it wouldn't be that much of a coincidence that they burned. With all that wind, accidents can happen.
Oh, yeah.
But this was his theory anyway.
Yeah, his crazy plan went from killing them and burying them to I'm just going to kill them and burn them down.
Right. So, but nobody had been outside, so nobody knew that Dr. Peters and his wife had died.
Yeah, there's that.
So the next night he crept to Officer Davenport's house, and Officer Davenport was home alone. I don't know if he was single or if maybe his wife was out of town or whatever. I don't know, but he was at home alone. So he had decided not to use the gun again because a bullet could be found in the body.
Oh yeah, evidence.
Right. So, but he did have it with him because he knew that Officer Davenport would be armed.
Well, I would hope so.
Right. So Thaddeus quietly gripped the doorknob, and the door was unlocked. And he waited next to a window, and when Officer Davenport went into the kitchen, he quietly slipped in, took off his gas mask, and hid by the wall that separated the kitchen and the main room.
All right.
As soon as Officer Davenport turned the corner, Thaddeus struck and he stabbed Davenport in the neck, and it was a kill shot.
Kind of like. Never mind. We aren't done with that one yet. Okay. Carry on.
Oh, yeah, okay. But the knife had hit Davenport's jugular, and he died quickly, but Thaddeus didn't get off scot-free.
Oh, all right.
Davenport had a boiling hot coffee pot.
Oh.
Which he slung at Thaddeus. The left side of Thaddeus's face was scalded, but his mission was accomplished, and he retrieved his gas mask, lit Davenport's house on fire, then crept back to his house. Once again, no witnesses, and neither of these fires have been reported either.
All right, so Thaddeus stabbed him in the neck, and then the cop grabbed the boiling pot and threw it at him?
No, he had gone into the kitchen to bring his coffee pot out.
Okay.
Into the living room. Or the main room, whatever. So he was carrying it when he came out of the kitchen, and when Thaddeus just came up and like basically sidestabbed him in the neck. Yeah, okay, but it was like a more like it wasn't like stab and then he like scampered to the kitchen and then threw the pot of water at him. It was like he had it in his hand and stabbed, splash. Right. And I said that he threw it on Thaddeus, and that's probably it. When he got stabbed, he probably just went like this, and it. He probably just like
it wasn't
swung
like,
his arms up.
I got you.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't trying to like. Oh, let me throw this.
Let me throw this
pot of hot coffee.
It was just a reaction.
Yeah, asshole. It was just a reaction.
All right, cool.
But
right, I'm with you now.
So back at his house, he was deciding who would be next. And he dressed his scalded face, and I can only imagine how bad wearing that gas mask on top of that burn would have hurt.
Oh. Yeah, I don't even want to know.
But you know what? I don't care, because fuck this guy.
Yeah, right? I mean, dude, but, he did serve, but he's fucked up now, dude. And, like a lot of these people, it's like, whatever, yeah. Fuck him.
So, but he couldn't wait for the burn to heal. There was no telling how long the storm would last, and it had already been there almost a week.
Jesus, so, I can't even imagine something like that, man.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's just.
Hurricanes sometimes last for like 3 or 4 days, but then then depending on the damage, then it's like another week without power or whatever. But dude, just a constant fucking dust blowing fucking storm for like over a week.
We see the ones that just like sat there and stalled and everything like this. I mean, they didn't, because I did some looking into it and everything. And the Dust Bowl is something that's a story that's always like kind of fascinated me. But it's just like it's one of these things that I intend to do a deep dive on. And maybe now that I've covered this case, then maybe I'll actually start doing it, and maybe we'll do a deep Dust Bowl episode for Patreon. Right. But it's just in the research that I did find to put this together, the storms that stalled like that were few and far between. They didn't happen very often.
Oh, okay.
It was usually just like fast-moving storms. But there were several storms that were reported during the time that did just basically sit there and stall, kind of like the Thanksgiving storm back in the 80s, which was a tropical storm that sat there for a week and Florida almost sank because of it.
Yeah, right. But, that was just, there was wind and stuff, but that was all just rain, dude. It just rained for like a month.
Right. But,
but dude, I lived in Seattle, dude. That was like every day for me. Anyway, not the point.
He decided to strike again that same night because, once again, there's no telling how long the storm was going to be there.
He's got to execute his plan before the storm ends.
Yep. So time didn't matter. Even during the day, it was dark and visibility was still 0. So he began the trek to Archie Spall's house. And when he got there, he looked through a window. He saw Archie, his wife, Mary, and their teenage son, Henry. He would have to strike fast and decided to take Henry out first because obviously he's the youngest.
Yeah.
And so he checked the doorknob, and it too was unlocked. Different time.
Yeah, different time.
But so he stood by the window and decided that waiting for the perfect moment was a waste of time because there were 3 of them. So he once again picked up a piece of wood, slung it through the window, and then ran to the back door, took off the gas mask, and burst in. I'm Thaddeus! No, he didn't do that.
I hope not.
But he caught the trio by surprise, and he ran at Henry. And Henry tried to fight and managed to punch him right in the burned and now blistering side of his face.
Oh.
That knocked Thaddeus off of his game, but he quickly regained his composure, and he stabbed Henry in the chest. Mary was screaming, so he pounced on her, and Archie grabbed him and tried to pull him off. But Thaddeus punched him and knocked him down, and then he stabbed Mary in the neck. Archie had gotten up and
he was stabbing people in the neck, man. That's fucking all right.
He was a soldier.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but anyway, yeah, I know.
I've known members of the 82nd and 101st Airborne Division, and they say everybody that I've talked to is like when they're teaching you how to make a kill like that, like a quiet. Either you just go in and you cover their mouth and you and then you stab them in the neck, or you cover their mouth and you like stab them right up the bunghole.
Okay.
Because both scenarios, the people aren't going to scream.
Yeah.
Because if you stab them in the neck, then it's yeah. And then if you stab them in the bunghole, then everything just seizes up. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah. So he knew what he was doing.
All right. Yeah. No, I got you.
So Archie had gotten up and he had grabbed a fire poker and he hit Thaddeus with it, and so now Thaddeus had a gash on the other side of his face.
Oh boy!
Too bad he didn't hit him on the burn.
Yeah, right. I mean, fuck, dude. Did they have hockey? No, they didn't even have hockey masks back then because he's like setting up to be Jason Voorhees, I think.
No shit, right?
But there wasn't hockey masks back then because dude, they didn't start wearing hockey masks until like the 80s.
Well, too bad they weren't like brewing a pot of coffee. Then they could have gotten the other side. He could have been Freddy Krueger.
Oh fuck! We both said that at the exact same time. Fuck you.
So, yeah, if he had hit him on the burn side of his face, that might have given Archie enough time to take Thaddeus down. Yeah. But he pulled out his revolver and he told Archie to cool it.
Oh.
So Archie just dropped the poker, and Thaddeus told him that this was his revenge for trying to start his family by selling fertilizer to everybody but him.
Of course, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yep.
Anyway,
but Archie tried to reason with Thaddeus, but Thaddeus wasn't having it, so he then stabbed Archie in the stomach and then cut his throat.
Oh.
So he retrieved his gas mask, set the house on fire, and he thought that he noticed that the wind was maybe dying down a little bit.
Ruh-roh.
So he decided that it was now or never for his wife.
Oh, so he just went straight forward. He didn't go back home this time?
Right.
All right, here we go.
He decided that he was going to kill Becky and Jill and then take his son and leave town and never look back.
Okay.
He had been at it for over 7 hours by the time he crept to Becky's house. And he looked in, the house was dark, and, it seemed like everybody was asleep. So Becky was a 40-year-old widow, and she lived alone, so this was going to be easy. Yeah, which was perfect for him because he was exhausted and in severe pain, not just because of his face, but his shoulders and knees from all the crawling that he had to do.
Oh, yeah, no shit, dude. This cracker been crawling around for 7 hours? Yeah. He got to be tired. On top of killing a bunch of people?
Well, you got to figure that his time in the house, in these houses where he's killing people, couldn't have been more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The rest of the time,
the
rest of the time he's just crawling around, strafing around, and it's just trying not to, get blown away or get impaled by a piece of, flying debris or whatever.
So yeah. He got to be wore out. I'd be wore out. Dude, I'm wore out just listening to this.
No shit. So, same as the others, the door was unlocked, and he went in and he took off the gas mask and he crept to Becky's bedroom. He walked right past his wife and son who were asleep on the couch.
Oh.
He could have just killed her and taken his son, but the commotion would have likely made his son start crying and wake Becky up.
Yeah.
So he crept into Becky's room, and in one motion, he covered Becky's mouth with one hand and drove his knife into her heart with the other. She was dead in an instant.
Yeah.
All too easy.
All too easy. Sorry, Anakin.
So,
we didn't mean to bring you into this.
So he turned around to head back into the main part of the house to get to Jill, and he was greeted by a cast iron pan to the face.
Oh, sucky.
Jill had woke up. He had woke up. She didn't realize that it was Thaddeus at the time, but when she turned on the light and saw her husband on the floor trying to get up and reaching for his knife, she hit him again, this time on the top of the head.
Oh, yeah.
So she asked him why, and he just mumbled something about her being part of the people who were plotting against him.
Oh, of course.
So he started reaching into his army fatigue for his gun, but as soon as he drew it, Jill smacked it from his hand with the frying pan, and then she picked it up and held it on him. Jill's a badass.
Fuck yeah.
Love Jill.
Yeah. Damn, man, she ain't taking no shit, dude. She grabbed that cast iron skillet and just went to work.
Mm-hmm. So she picked up the gun and she held it on him, and she ordered him out into the living room and told him to sit on the stool that was there, and he obeyed. His son was still asleep on the sofa.
Oh, see, I thought it was gonna be Jill that got him, but I don't remember, dude. Like I said, the video watches, it was more about the Dust Bowl than this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you ought to see if you can find that so we can link it.
And it's been a minute since this happened, so, but I don't know. I don't remember it all. Yeah, I'll try to find it again. If it's, I don't know. You know how YouTube is.
Yeah, I'd like to see it, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it just because as far as the internet is concerned, that's like the only mention of this other than that book that probably like 30 copies were sold. Right. And somebody just like, oh, this is cool, let's photocopy it, the pages. And
we'll just scan it in and make it a PDF. Because, why not? So, anyway. But that's
Jill,
fucking amazing, dude. I can't believe she fucking whacked it. That's great that she got it in a fucking frying pan, dude. Holy shit.
Oh, it gets better.
Oh, hell yeah. Here we go.
So Jill then picked up the phone, and Thaddeus made a dash towards her, and Jill fired the gun and hit Thaddeus in the hip.
Ooh. She actually shot him?
She shot him. She fucking shot him.
She ain't taking shit.
So Thaddeus fell, and she told him to stay there, and he obeyed.
Yeah. Like, bitch, you just shot me.
Yeah, it's like, okay. She was probably
supposed to be easy. Now I'm just going to lay here and rethink
I'm
my
just going to
life.
lay here and be like...
Can I have a death stick, please?
You fucker! I was just going to say that.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. So Jill rang the operator who connected her to the police, and she told them what had happened. And the winds had died down considerably at that point, but visibility was still zero. It would take them a little while to get to them because they were coming in a car, obviously. So the whole time, Thaddeus was making accusations and even accused her of sleeping with Dr. Peters, which, of course, wasn't true. Jill, being the badass that she was, she had her hands full. On one hand, she had the gun pointed at and at Thadius, and on the other hand, she was like cradling her son, because obviously her son would woke up when she fired the gun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and comforting him. So she's multitasking here,
as most mothers will do.
Yeah,
you don't ever fuck with a mama bear, dude. Mama bear will end you.
Well, I could say that I wish that she had ended Thadius, but
yeah, you know what I mean.
Nobody else dies, and Thadius does get ended. So
all right, well, here we go.
So Thadius begged to hold John, but Jill told him that she would never hold John again.
Good for her.
Fuck yeah.
Good for her.
Finally, the police arrived, and Thadius was arrested and taken to jail. It didn't take too long for the bodies of the Peters, Davenport, and the Smalls to be discovered in the debris of their burnt houses. And it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that all the victims of all these people were victims of Thadius, because the entire town knew that he had beef with all of them.
Yes. Yeah, so, he didn't really think this through. He thought he was going to get away with it, but...
And to make matters worse for Thadius, he was now a cop killer.
Oh, that's right.
So his trial was open and shut, and he was found guilty of 7 murders and 3 cases of arson. Okay. So he was arrested on June 28, 1934, and his trial was July 8th, and he was hanged on July 12th, 1934. Oh. But before he was executed, he told a lot of details to a jail guard who, he's just like, I'm going to write this shit down.
I'm tired.
So he's being proactive and everything. But unfortunately, what he said to this guard was lost.
Yeah.
In time,
of course.
So a lot of this was word of mouth, and the details probably aren't 100% accurate. Some of the details also likely came from Jill, who told the story to John, who told his kids, who told my source, James Morton.
Yeah.
So, and, I mean, what a cool, yeah. I don't know why. This should be like one of the heavy hitter fucking
should be
true crime stories.
That was a good story.
It should also be a fucking movie.
It should.
I mean,
dude, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But there's one other thing I need to mention before we wrap up.
Okay.
April Fools, bitches! I made the whole damn thing up, and Todd was in on it.
Yes, I was. We got you. Well, hopefully we got you. I hope you did enjoy the story, but you know what I mean.
No,
dude, you did a good job, dude. You really did a good fucking job writing that story, bro. And it did. It sounded like one of our regular episodes. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you're amazing, bro. And yes, I was in on it, dude. I had a note because you always see me looking over here that I never do. He sent me the script so I could play along.
Yeah, so I hope Mark doesn't hate me after this.
Oh, dude, you know what, dude? He's gonna fucking love it, bro.
Yeah, I asked him if he wanted to join us on this one, because I told him that it was from a case from the 1930s that took place in the Dust Bowl. He's like, "Oh, I love old stories." So I asked him, "It's like, you want to join us?" Can you imagine if he'd been on here?
Oh, dude,
him being,
no, dude. Then he would have hated you, dude. If you didn't let him in on it, dude. If you made him the fucking, then he would have hated you, dude. He'll listen to this and go, "All right, that was cool. They got me." But he ain't gonna hate you, dude. But if you'd have brought him in on this story with us, dude, and just left him in the dark, dude, yeah, he would have been like, "Fuck you guys," and fucking hung up and just left.
So
anyway, so I hope you enjoyed our little practical joke. Bill did an excellent job. I mean, dude, Bill completely made up that story. I mean, from scratch.
Yeah.
It's not like when we did the
we literally Yeah, that story had been written. I didn't have to do anything
Yeah.
other than just write it down on paper because it was already there. But that's the MK Ultra mass murderer episode. Yeah. That's actually Queensryche's concept album Operation Minecraft, the story of it. But told as if it was a true crime story.
Yeah, we had a little fun with that. But yeah,
we didn't do that on April Fool's though. It was after the fact.
Yeah, because we didn't. Because we'd only just started last April, man.
Yeah, we were new. I was like, I had the idea, but it's just we were still getting our feet wet and everything.
It's like, dude, you can't prank your listeners when you just start,
right? So,
but we figured now we could, so we did.
Right.
And Bill wrote an amazing story from scratch. You know what I mean? That was awesome, dude. That was great. Hopefully everybody enjoys it and gets our little prank again.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, but the thing about it, we're recording this on the 27th of March.
The day after my birthday. I'm hungover as fuck.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Belated. But we, this is probably going to be released. Hold on, let me look at the calendar. I think April Fool's Day is on Sunday.
Is it?
I think. Let me check.
Well, no, we talked about this.
No, it's on Saturday, which is even better because that's when we're releasing our episodes now. Is on Saturday.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll make sure I get this one done.
Okay. Well, not going to be that hard. This one went really smooth.
Yeah, it did. There's just a couple of things to cut out.
Right. But yeah, it's just. Man, I wish that this. I don't wish that people lost their lives or anything like that, but I do kind of wish that this was a real.
I know,
true crime
dude.
story.
You wrote a great story, bro.
But still, if this pissed you off because we pulled one over on you, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. It was a great story. You were fucking enthralled the entire way through. You know it. You can't be mad at us.
But the thing is, we've said this on episodes before, because I've been known to make shit up.
Yes.
But the thing is, if I make something up, I will admit to it.
Oh yeah. No,
I won't. I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you think that like sitting there believing something that just came out of my demented mind. So it's just and I did the same thing with this episode. Yeah. I made it up.
And you did a good job. And yes, I'm sure. Everybody's going, God damn them, they did it again. And then they'll be like, it was a good story though. So we're gonna, you know what I mean? It was a good story. Anyway.
You made it believable.
Anyway.
Damn. So, like I said, sorry, not sorry. Anyway, let's wrap this up. And I can't believe how long this one. It's actually turned out to be like a little bit longer than average, episode that we did. But after edits, it'll probably be right at. The funny thing is, episode 50.
Yes.
Episode 50 has. This obviously is episode 50 because you're listening to it, and it's episode 50. But episode 50 changed several times.
Yes, it did.
What we were going to do for episode 50. Initially for episode, and this dates back probably a month and a half. We're like, what are we going to do for episode 50? So initially we were going to cover Israel Keys.
Mm-hmm.
But because of how long Henry Lee Lucas took, and then we also had the interview with Vic Ferrari. It's just like so. At one point, Henry Lee Lucas was going to be episode 50, and then that changed, and it was then episode 50. We recorded Henry Lee Lucas, planning for it to be episode 50. And then
mistakes were made.
Something happened. Mistakes were made, and we had to redo that. But chaos reigns supreme on Crime.
Yes, it does, and y'all should know that very well by now.
Right. So then we're like, okay, well, we'll make the Vic Ferrari episode 50. We'll release Henry Lee Lucas at 49. Well, like I said, we had to re-record. We had to redo. Henry Lee Lucas. So it's just like, what? And then I just happened to notice, like, episode 50 is going to come out around April 1st. Like, let's do this. So it's just like, okay, we're recording this on the 27th. I started writing this on the 25th.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. It was a great story, bro. I mean, it was. I mean, I don't know how accurate you were, like, with attention to detail for the history and all that, but hey, it was a good story.
That's what,
dude. I'm sitting.
That's what took me.
I'm sitting there reading the script along with you, dude, and I'm like, I'm fucking enthralled. I'm like, holy crap, dude, this is fucking good. It's too bad this is fake.
But I did the that's what took me the longest, is making sure that everything that I said, but it was matched up
more or less
with the timeline.
Accurate. Yes, awesome, dude. Good
right.
job. Good job.
Thank you. So anyway, we're gonna get the hell out of here. Yep. Check us out on social media. Rate, review, subscribe. Blah blah blah. CKC_beer on Twitter. And check out our website and blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah. If you're watching this on YouTube, which will probably be way after April 1st,
right?
Just understand that you know how YouTube works. But if you're watching it on YouTube and you liked it, you had fun with us, whatever, click like, click subscribe if you feel so inclined, and maybe hit the little dingy dongy belly thing so when we do another one you can see it.
Right. So next episode will be part 1 of Henry Lee Lucas. We had initially done it as a 1-parter, and it was like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah, due to technical difficulties.
So we decided, we're going to do Henry Lee. So episode 51 will be part 1 of Henry Lee Lucas, and then episode 52 will be part 2.
Yeah, and we're not going to make.
But
you
we're not going
to.
We're not going. No,
not going to make you wait a week for it. You'll get it. You'll get part 2 a
couple
few
days later
after. Yes.
Because
we're not complete dicks like that. Even though we used to be, not anymore. So yeah.
Anyway,
so next week you'll get two episodes within a few days of each other,
right.
or whatever. Not next week, but you know what I mean. Anyway,
right. So until next time, later.
Cheers, everybody.